everybody, welcome back. It's Cameron back here from Geeks Gambit. I know it's been a while, and I apologize about that. Lots of stuff happened. For better or for worse, we did close the brick and mortar location, which on the upside gives me time to follow my hobbies, follow my passions, and as many of you know, that includes tabletop role-playing games. I've been playing those, for a little bit over 30 years now. Started out with Palladium's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness. That went into, I believe, Rolemaster was next, and then D&D, and then Star Wars, West End Games D6, and then on throughout the years. That hasn't changed. I still really enjoy those games. I still really enjoy playing, and I started planning on a Dungeons & Dragons campaign a few months ago. The reality is I actually originally thought I was going to perhaps run Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and I wasn't sure that I had the time to dedicate to putting all the math into what I needed to do to get that done. So, Dungeons & Dragons, I had plenty of people willing to play, and the math was going to be a lot easier. Thought I would start running it in that. Had a lot of great ideas come for it, and then it kind of petered out. I wasn't sure why it was not coming as easily as it should. The idea to me was cool. It was one of the first ideas ever for a game that I took to the kids and wife and other people who, instead of them going, oh, yeah, cool story, bro, they were like, wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. I actually want to play in that. It was different. It was new for me, at least. But something was holding me back, and I wasn't sure what it was until I got to view a video series from Heath's Geekverse. He did a whole series on dice roll mechanics. Now, for those of you who know me, this is no surprise. Those of you who don't, I live in numbers. I work in marketing professionally, so I'm always deep in analytics and statistics. At the same time, I also happen to be dyslexic with numbers, so math can be a weak spot for me. On the upside, it makes it great for me to see patterns and track down inconsistencies and outliers. On the other hand, coming up with a system that's based on math and learning how I can play with that math can be a bit more difficult. This became readily apparent when I took a game design course not too long ago from the indomitable Eloy Lasanta. If you guys don't follow him, be sure to go do so. He's doing some great stuff both in the gaming world and music world. And math came up there. And the general consensus was, just, find a mechanic you like and run with that. And you play with it until it seems right. That's okay, but I play with a lot of people who are really good at math and can easily spot, hey, the math is off here, this is wrong, this mechanic. What's worse is they all happen to be very kind individuals, so they're unlikely to tell me there's a problem with this math. Back to Heath's videos, he pointed out the problems with like a D20 based system that D&D and many systems are run on, wherein the choices you make in building and leveling your character actually have very little result on the outcome of a die roll. He went through a number of different systems, including dice pools. I love dice pools. And that one almost solves the issue, wherein the choices you make have more control over the potential outcomes of a die roll. But each of those dice being rolled is independent of the other. So in theory, if you say have 20% chance of success on a single die, and you roll 5, someone who's bad at math like me might go, oh, well, that gives me almost a guaranteed success. It doesn't work that way. That led down the road of percentiles. Now, most percentile systems do put a heavy curve on the choices you make in character design and character development, for those choices making a huge difference in the relative success or failure of your character's actions. And when you're talking percentile systems, you're essentially looking at games like Rolemaster, Chaosium, basic role-playing, some versions of Warhammer. Also, newer game, Against the Darkmaster, which is kind of a homage and almost an OSR version of Rolemaster. And so that's got me looking back there. And when you look at percentile dice, you've got two basic ways they work. One being a roll under system. That's how Palladium skills work, although not combat. That's how basic role-playing works. You have skill or action or whatever based at a certain number, say a 34. You have to roll under a 34 to succeed. Maybe yours is at 97, you roll under a 97 to succeed. The only issue I have there is it really constrains what is capable, what is possible within that limited range of percentiles. The other version is more like an open-ended role, where you've got Rolemaster and you have Against the Darkmaster with their open D100. That one, you're going to roll, then you're going to add everything up, and then you're going to get total result, and you may even have exploding results, which allows for some swinginess to happen. It's like when I used to play Savage Worlds, and those dice would just keep exploding, and what did we say at the end? Savage Worlds happens. So I really am leaning toward high adventure role-playing, the kind of Rolemaster light HARP, or Rolemaster, or Against the Darkmaster. I'm really fighting with this right now. Rolemaster put out Unified recently. They have decades of games that have been published and options to choose from and bring into the new system. HARP is a little bit easier. One thing I always disliked about Rolemaster was the base stat and the potential stat, where you could really end up limiting your character and future advancement. Some people really like that. I am not a fan, but it does have a lot of support for it already. Against the Darkmaster is one I kickstarted. I enjoy that game. I really thought I would like dealing with them. They also basically have an open license to go ahead and use it. The downside I have with that one is when I had the store, I tried reaching out to the creators of that game several times because they had no distribution, and I wanted to sell it in the store. And I tried through several different channels and never had success in actually reaching them. At least these other companies, when I talk to them, whether the result is positive or negative, I get a response. The other thing is Against the Darkmaster is still a developing game. There's a lot of stuff it doesn't have that I'm going to need for my campaign, which means more work. Still, that's the way I'm leaning. Curious what your thoughts on that are. If I'm going to go with a percentile system, and I want it so that the character choices actually impact the roll of the dice more than the swinginess of the dice, but I do enjoy having some of that swinginess. Which system would you go with and why? I'll share a little bit later what I'm going to be doing, and maybe that'll help you inform me. Until I see you guys again, remember to be well, be safe, and be awesome, both to yourself and one another.